The text of this Act will be made electronically available in each of the official languages as soon as practicable after the enactment, and will be published in hard copy in both languages as soon as possible. Part 4 provides for the necessary changes to the Pensions Act to implement Article 17 of the EU Directive on the activities and supervision of institutions for occupational retirement pensions. This article applies to pension arrangements where the pension scheme and not the sponsoring employer guarantees pension benefits. It is anticipated that there are few, if any, schemes in Ireland where the scheme provides such a guarantee. So it is expected that the implementation of Article 17 will have little impact on existing occupational pension schemes in Ireland. The substantive elements of Article 17 of the Directive are provided for in Section 35 of this bill. Defined benefit pension schemes are required under Part 4 of the Pensions Act to maintain sufficient assets in the scheme to enable them to discharge their accrued liabilities in the event of the scheme winding up. Where schemes do not satisfy this requirement, the sponsors or trustees must submit a funding proposal to the Pensions Board to restore full funding within 3 years. This period can be extended at the discretion of the Pensions Board. Section 35 builds on these funding requirements to secure the additional reserves required to implement Article 17 by inserting a new Part 4B into the Pensions Act. This new part provides for the application of the provisions of Article 17 to regulatory own fund schemes and to regulatory own funds trust retirement annuity contracts. A regulatory own fund scheme is a pension arrangement where the scheme and not the sponsoring employer guarantees pension benefits. Similarly, a regulatory own funds trust is a pension arrangement where the trust of the retirement annuity contract guarantees the pension benefit. The other measures contained in Chapter 2 of Part 4 make consequential amendments to the Pensions Act to embed the new Part 4B into the Pensions Act. These amendments include, for example, the exemption of regulatory own fund schemes from the requirements to submit funding proposals or to restructure scheme benefits where a scheme fails to satisfy the funding standard under Part 4 of the Pensions Act. The requirement to submit funding proposals and to restructure scheme benefits is set out in a new part of the Pensions Act, which is being introduced by Section 35. In addition, Chapter 3 of Part 4 clarifies the responsibility of the Pensions Board in regard to the certification by the Board of certain policies or contracts of assurance as being suitable for pension purposes. Sections 40 to 43 amend the Pensions Act to provide that such policies or contracts of assurance will now require to be certified by the Pensions Board instead of getting the approval of the Board. While it is anticipated that this article will apply to very few, if any, pension schemes in Ireland, the Pensions Board will publish guidelines on the application of Article 17 in the coming weeks. In summary, the Social Welfare and Pensions Bill of 2011 provides for changes to the Social Welfare Code, to the Pensions Act and to a number of other enactments. The measures contained in this bill are in 4 categories: changes to give effect to 3 of the measures announced in the Jobs Initiative, a phased increase in the state pension age to 68 years by 2028, in line with the National Pensions Framework, implementation of Article 17 of Directive 2003/41 of the EC on the activities and supervision of institutions for occupational retirement provision, and a number of other changes to the Social Welfare Code and to the Coirla Act of 2000. This is a bill which is about providing opportunities to the unemployed and low pay. Through it, we are making work more worthwhile, by the €1 increase in the national minimum wage per hour. We are putting supports in place to help people to get back to work and to get work experience through the National Internship Scheme. And we are providing a better environment for the creation and retention of jobs through PRSI measures. We are focusing on the challenges of getting people back to work and keeping them in work. And in particular, for employers in certain sectors, we will have the restoration of the minimum wage. We will have the 50% reduction in employers' PRSI for people earning up to €356 a week. And alongside that, we will have a cut coming in on the 1st of July in the lower rate of VAT targeted at tourism and personal services industries. Now, it is as important at the moment to retain jobs as it is to create new jobs, and it is certainly my hope that the measures which are contained in this bill in relation to particularly employers and social welfare contributions, the reduction of 50% up to the end of 2013, will offer, along with the VAT reductions which the Minister for Finance announced in the Jobs Initiative, will offer an incentive to employers to retain workers and to take on additional workers, and that the National Internship Scheme will provide a serious incentive to people who really have not been able to get work experience, get into work, that with the cooperation of host employers, that they will now be in a position to get meaningful work experience, and that will also involve a top-up if they're in receipt of a social welfare payment of €50 a week, which will constitute a further incentive. So I am optimistic that the measures being announced in the bill today will help to contribute to economic recovery. At the end of the day, we are in a very difficult place economically. We have, however, very positive areas of the economy in relation to the internationally traded goods and services sector in relation to exports. But our difficulty right around the country is retaining local Indigenous jobs, particularly in areas like tourism. And I would be optimistic that the measures that are being brought to the Shannon today will assist in returning the country back on the road to prosperity. Mullam an Billid an Teach, agus tá mé ag siúl gur bhur gcuid tuairimí a cloisteáil maidir leis na meireanna atá ann. I want to commend the bill to the House, and I look forward to an informed and an interesting debate and to hearing your views on the measures contained in the bill. Thank you.